The phrase, children of a lesser God, originated in a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And I quote, "For why is all around us here as if some lesser God had made the world, but had no force to shape it as he would?" End of quote. You see, this is what came to my mind this week when I took a closer look at the detailed data from the 2019 census report that was released on Monday. One particular number caught my attention. 71.7. This is the percentage of people in Mandera County that have never, ever been to school. That number is slightly better in Garissa, where it stands at 75.2%. But if you're shocked already, listen to this. In Wajir County, a whopping 77% of residents have never set foot inside a classroom. Now let me tell you what these percentages really mean. That in each of these counties, 8 out of 10 people have no formal education. And folks, these are not numbers from 1963 when we made the fight against ignorance a national goal. These are figures from the 2019 population census, which means that they are as current as they can be. That if you randomly stopped any 10 people in any of these counties, only 2 of them will have had some level of education. I know this is just but one statistic from the many figures contained in all of the 5 volumes of the report, but it is a very telling statistic. Think about it. What is it that one can achieve in this country without formal education? Granted, things are tough even for those who have multiple degrees. But so imagine now what the world looks like if you really have never set foot in school. No result slip of any kind, no certificate. You are essentially locked out of the formal economy. You are poor no matter what material wealth you may possess. The neglect of this important part of Kenya goes back many years. But we are far too deep into our independence to start making excuses about history and the past. It has been 57 years. How can we have any Kenyan, let alone 77% of them, without any formal education? This is not just another region. This is a region that borders key neighboring countries, a land teeming with the wealth of camels, goats, cattle, and solar energy, to name but a few. How is this immense wealth supposed to benefit people who cannot even write their own names? How is that resident of Wajir with thousands of camels or cattle but no formal education supposed to reap maximum benefit from his labor? Do we even expect him to compete fairly with his fellow Kenyans? How would he be able to access the international market without greedy intermediaries taking advantage of him? And what about civic duties? Do we expect this person to participate meaningfully in the country's politics? Or even read that BBI report that is found in a portal somewhere? It is no wonder that criminal groups such as Al-Shabaab would find fertile ground in this part of Kenya and infiltrate communities of a people who have been neglected in their own country, of a people in Wajir who only got their first tarmac road in 2018. Indeed, even the handling of the current teacher exodus from this part of Kenya couldn't be more telling. When the government, of all people, says it is fine for the teachers to leave, it is a shocking admission that this region is truly on its own. It amounts to ceding control of Kenyan territory to criminal elements. Don't get me wrong, the life of teachers matter, and they must flee if their security cannot be guaranteed. But it leaves the government with egg on its face. Ladies and gentlemen, this story of northeastern Kenya should shame us all. It is unacceptable. It should not happen in 2020 or ever. That is my take tonight.